All right, guys, welcome back. The NBA Fantasy Salary Cap edition continues. We are in game day 3 of game week 6, and game day 3 happens to be a Christmas edition. We had 5 hot game right from tip-off with the first game until the final game of the night, which was MVP Nikola Jokic, the Joker, taking on Ant-Man of the Timberwolves. Amazing stuff ahead. I have all the highlights. Get ready to get excited. So in as far as fantasy is concerned, I managed, when you look at that score, the average is 127 and my score is 108. You can assume I have at least 3 players playing in this game. But guess what? All these points are for just a single player. He is the second player to actually pass the 100-point threshold after Kincaid Cunningham of the Detroit Pistons did it a while back this season. And as far as fantasy is concerned, those are the 2 players that have actually made 100 plus points this season. And of course, the maximum points were 398, as you can see right there. So a look at my squad. Basically, it was just 1 player that played. I saw AJ Mitchell. AJ Mitchell was on the bench dressed in street clothes, and I just knew, oh boy, am I gonna have a terrible game week? But luckily, there was one man who always pulls through for me, Nikola Jokic, dropping 108 points. We shall look at his game in a while later. All right, now I look at the games. The first game, the tip-off game, was of course Cleveland taking on New York Knicks. Interesting feature about this game is that Brunson and the reserves led a Christmas comeback as the Knicks beat Cleveland Cavaliers 126 to 124 in this game. And as you can see right there, Donovan Mitchell led the way on the Cleveland side, dropping a total of 65 fantasy points, 34 in the game, 7 rebounds and 6 assists on that side. Darius Garland as well, with his fair contribution, a double, 20 points and 10 rebounds, 41 fantasy points right there, as you can see. On the other side, it was Jalen Brunson all day, every day. 34 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists, 49 fantasy points on that side. The other guys had a quiet Christmas weekend. He had 11, that's Karl-Anthony Towns, and 14 rebounds, 33 fantasy points right there. So let's get into the first game highlights.
Here's Mitchell, guarded by Bridges. Mitchell able to muscle his way to the cup. So Towns will be trusted for the moment with his 2 personals. Bridges, Mitchell able to muscle his way to the cup. So Towns will be trusted for the moment with his 2 personals. Mitchell.
All right, so in this game, basically, Jalen Brunson scored 34 points. And of course, the reserve, Jordan Clarkson, had 25 points. And the New York Knicks came from 17 down in the 4th quarter to beat Cleveland Cavaliers. And the final score was 226 and to 224 on Thursday. And the win on Christmas Day for the 3rd straight year. That is for the Knicks. They have won for 3 straight Christmas Day games.
16-3 Cavs out of the gate. What per 48-minute basis. And Anunoby, 3 to shoot, gives it up. Hart enters, tough bucket from Josh Hart. A bounce inside for the finish, 12 in the first. Runs in. Jitters inside, and the right-handed fillet. The two-time All-Star. Here's Mitchell. Shot clock turned off. Giving it up. Hunter connects from three. Well, that is the Defensive Player of the Year. Great stuff, George, and great stuff, Evan. Meanwhile, Knicks start the second with a three. Clarkson again. So he comes out the second half, and he goes 6 for 12. And he said, he looked at me, gave me a smile, and he said, I made some shots for you, coach. Kolek sending away Anunoby. Anunoby connects with a hand in his face. But has looked good today. Towns kept the left foot down. Towns shaking, charging, and finishing.
See what I mean?
Knocked away. Clarkson on the steal. Clarkson hooks it in. First. And they're one of the best teams in the league at protecting the basketball. 4th in offensive turnover percentage. Bridges connects. And a 19-point lead. Brunson rims in. And the foul. Cavs had 38-20 lead after one. And the Knicks have come back in a big way.
Chris Garland settled them down. Now Donovan getting to the two-man.
Hard buries the three and executes the 2 for 1. Slate of action today. Here's Mitchell. Little hesitation, bumps, and finishes. And hit, and here comes Hart. Brunson steps into a three and knocks it down. Garland connects. Darius Garland. Wade to Garland. Run off in the corner. Garland forces to Allen. Good possession. Merrill. He got it. Long. Towns the spin. Can't finish it.
Another move, though, where he gets right by Jared Allen. That's just make-miss.
Mitchell ooping the alley. But that's on the big-time delivery from Garland. Brunson off to Hart. And Anunoby to the corner. Bridges. He got it.
That's money. Yeah, this is like a charge.
Totally. 100%. Here's Hart in the corner. He got it. Tied at 7. Merrill can't hit the three. Tyson the rebound. Here's Merrill cutting and finishing. Towns the board. Tyson 11 points in the last 5 minutes for Cleveland. 2 for 1 here for New York. Clarkson zipping down the lane, pops it in off the window. NBA Christmas. Mitchell, 5 to shoot. Hunter, center of the lane, at it stripped, will take and hit.
In back-to-back games. And
drops that in.
Here's the pluses and minuses to me.
And Mike talked about, I think it's fabulous now. I love the replication of those incredibly competitive high-level situations.
Great move, though. I mean, everything but the bucket. The crossover between the legs, so good.
Kolek, he got it. 9 assists now for Garland as Hart storms in for 2. Bridges, no. Robinson again. Brunson a 3, he got it. Ford, Kolek wide open, you bet.
Multiple opportunities to this team, you are in trouble.
Mitchell trying to respond, and does. Sphere at Madison Square Garden. Kolek in the corner, run off. Clarkson connects. 28 for Brunson. Mitchell explodes and finishes.
The feel of the game, the momentum was switching. He had to do something to get it back.
Brunson, you bet. Tie game to Mitchell. Mitchell, the Euro, can't wiggle it in. Mobley's pop is good. To secure that defensive glass. Kolek, a deep one. Truth. Kolek the control. Knicks can jump in front. Bridges the pull-up. Indeed. 20 points, 10 assists for Garland. Brunson the pull-up. You bet. Kolek on the drive. The fade. Can't hit. Towns storms in for the putback. Mitchell trying to make it happen. Mitchell, my goodness! Put the whole holiday on a poster. Knicks quickly ahead, Bridges the touch pass, Anunoby looking in, finds Mitchell, he'll hoist, can hit, rebound Robinson, he's fouled, bounces ahead, Mitchell has to get it off, does, hits, with is no good, Mitchell lets it bounce, the hoist, that'll do it, the Knicks.
Awesome stuff. You saw it from tip-off. It was hot like Christmas should be, and it was a crazy game right there. Donovan Mitchell doing his best to make sure that the Cleveland Cavaliers do not drop this game, but unfortunately the New York Knicks had the crowd on their side. They had everything was on their side, everything fell on their side. They crawled their way back from a 17-point deficit in the fourth quarter, and were so unlucky for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They ended up losing that one, unfortunately, in spite of all the efforts of Donovan Mitchell right there, dropping 34 points, same as Jalen Brunson, 34 as well. But the game ended 124 to 126. All right after that game came the second best game of the night. Now, that is the best game of the night, and it was the final game of the night, but that will come a little bit shortly after that. Now, the second best game of the night was San Antonio Spurs taking on the defending champions, Oklahoma City Thunders. For the third time straight, Spurs have beaten Thunders, the defending champions, in 2 weeks. 3 times in 2 weeks. So these guys have the template of how to beat OKC. Now, I have a lot to say about this game, and actually it also brings me back to the MVP conversation. Now, this game, Shea did play. He played well, no doubt. But for an MVP, if you're to see the way the best game of the night went, that's the Denver Nuggets game against Ant-Man, Oklahoma City Thunders. It was entirely on the shoulders of Nikola Jokic the entire time, even when they went behind in the overtime. It was Nikola Jokic's effort, together, of course, with Jamal Murray. I want to give credit to Jamal Murray because this season he's actually playing, and actually his contribution during the season is actually being evidently seen. So credit is due where it's due to him anyway. So, whereas in this game, when shit hit the fan, guess what happened? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander went and sat on the bench. They brought in other chips to try and see if there's a way of crowing back and trying to manage the human eraser, Victor Wembanyama. Which luxury Nikola Jokic doesn't have. If Nikola Jokic sits on the bench, the team falls apart. There are those non-Nikola Jokic minutes. And it's a thing out there with Nikola on the bench. Whereas Shai, you could see him seated on the bench with his arms crossed. And the guys kept on pushing. The chips on the bench are as good as the starters. So I do not know what you define by an MVP pie. An MVP is someone who is indispensable, someone that once he sits down, the deficit can clearly be seen. The team can miss him while he's on the bench. Whereas Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you could clearly see that the team did not miss him while he was seated on the bench. They still tried to push San Antonio Spurs in this game, in spite of Shai being on the court. Anyway, let's get into the game. So as you can see right there, De'Aaron Fox scored 29 points, and the San Antonio Spurs defeated Oklahoma City Thunders 117 to 102 on Thursday night for their third win over the defending champions in the past 2 weeks. Spurs also defeated Thunders in the NBA Cup semifinals on December 13th and in San Antonio on Tuesday. The team meet again on January. I think that's the final meeting of the season, January 3rd. That is a must watch, guys. If you've not watched it, I'm sure OKC is going to come out all guns blazing. But based on what I saw, as long as Wembanyama is fit, they are going to push OKC to the limit. They will push OKC to the limit, because one thing that I noticed about Wembanyama is that once Wembanyama is in, guess what gets cancelled? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's what? Mid-ranges. And that is his comfortable zone, his mid-range. Dribble through, push off a player, jump up, make that mid-range shot. That is the template that Shai had. But every time he would move in, yeah, he made 1, 2, 3, 4, a considerable number of whatever mid-ranges, but they were limited because every time when Wembanyama would come towards him, he would dish that ball out, push it out. And unlucky for OKC, the shooters were not on. They were not on point. Caruso was struggling until, of course, somewhere there in the end. But their shooters were not shooting. The shots were not dropping. So Shai was cut off. Once you cut off that mid-range, because thanks to Wembanyama's height and length, he got scared. He couldn't go in as often as he normally does. And of course, the board was off limits for everyone, not just Wembanyama, for everyone. You cannot go and lay up on the board with Wembanyama in that team. So that will be the defining moment come January 19th in their final meeting, January 13th in their final meeting, because if Wembanyama is fit, you're going to push them. Speaking of Victor Wembanyama, Victor had 19 points and 11 rebounds in this game. So let's just look at how they fared. 40 points, that's for Wembanyama in this game, fantasy points, dropping 19 and a double-double, 11 rebounds in that game. De'Aaron Fox was amazing in this game. I actually watched this game. He was amazing. His mid-range shots are good. His handles are on point. Clutch points, very, very much needed. 29 points in this game for De'Aaron Fox, 45 fantasy points. Stephon Castle had a quiet one, and he was early on in foul trouble during the game, but his contribution was well needed. 19 and 4 rebounds and 7 assists, 40 points right there, as you can see. Harrison Barnes, his long range shot was kind of missing, but even then his contribution welcome. 15 points in the game, 26 fantasy points. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the other side, of course, had 22 points, 39. Led the way for OKC, but the other chips were not as effective as they usually are. They banked on their defense. There was a point in time, but thankfully the coach was calling in those timeouts so that the team would reorient and recombobulate and come back. And of course, they kept their head on straight and they managed to overcome OKC. So let's jump into those highlights.
Castle getting the defensive assignment to start against Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's an outstanding defender.
Boy, J-Dub with that quick shot layup over 5.
Victory. Williams picks up Vassell on the switch,
and J-Dub off to a good start, albeit with that surgically
Now, in this game, of course, Victor Wembanyama had 19 points and 11 rebounds, and Stephon Castle had 19 points and 7 assists for the Spurs. Of course, the current standings of the Spurs, they have 23 wins and have just lost 7 games only all season. San Antonio Spurs shooting was 53.6% from the field and held OKC to just 38.9% shooting, which was awesome. That's why I was saying a few things fell in place for San Antonio. The shooting of OKC was off on the night for sure, because once Wembanyama erased all the mid-ranges and the on-border layups and all that, they opted for the 3-pointers and from long range, from deep. But unfortunately for them, their shooting was off on the night. It was San Antonio Spurs' 8th straight win over Oklahoma City Thunder's first home loss of the season. Remember, they had an unbeaten home record. That's OKC. And even then, there was a streak that they were on at the point in time when San Antonio Spurs beat them. So clearly, they have their number, and it's not even close, as you can see in this game. So OKC managed to end that unbeaten home record of OKC. I mean, San Antonio Spurs managed to beat OKC and, of course, end that unbeaten home record of the season. The Thunders entered the day at the top of the Western Conference standings with the Spurs in second place. And man, oh man, it was going to be a sad day had the final game gone the way it almost went, especially with Ant-Man shooting. There was a 3 he shot. Boy, oh boy. I just wait, more on that coming on later. All right, so on the other side, Isaiah Hardenstein had 13 points, 12 rebounds. Chet Holmgren had 10 points, 12 rebounds for the Thunders. Amazing, amazing stuff. So let's look at the highlights as they went on.
And the pull-up. Wow. Aaron Fox is on an early heater here. Job in finding him in free agency for San Antonio. Wiggins stepping through traffic for the layup. High ball screen by Cornet. He snakes it. Over Wallace. De'Aaron Fox in his crock pot. He's cooking right now with 15. He retrieves it. Wallace deflected by Fox. Active hands by San. Wiggins with a quick 3. Got it.
Becomes a rivalry, but it certainly seems like one right now.
Sure feels like one. Wemby with an exclamation point just to let you know. Williams found Holmgren underneath for the layup. But Barnes. 7 on the shot clock for the Spurs. Wemby out by the three-point circle. 1 dribble pull-up and a propitious roll and a shooting touch. Champagny pulls the 3 ball. Barnes with the offensive rebound, waltzing through the lane for the floater. Here to Wiggins. San Antonio up by 9, 5 minutes to go in the opening half. Hartenstein hands it off to Isaiah Joe. And Joe got the floater to go. Castle out front, guarded by Dort. Castle. Barnes catch and shoot. There's that 40% three-point range this year. Tough time shooting the ball this afternoon. Rebounded by Dort, then stolen by Barnes.
Boy, OKC's going a long time now that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's back in the game. He's got to get going.
And best to the leaders. SGA with great defense and the steal. They got a 2-on-1, little sidestep, and 1.
Fine by Stephon Castle off that switch.
SGA step backs over Fox. Boy, nobody's made more. Fox out top off the double drag. SGA trying to stick him. Fox says right now I'm simply unguardable. Left that 3 on the front rim. Look at another possession on the 2-for-1. Here's SGA. Drives left against Champagny. Finds Wallace for 3. Got it.
Here. And it was really the San Antonio guards, both De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle, 21 and 13 points respectively. They went 14 of 19 from this
year. On a hard roll, Cornet got it blocked by Chet.
Of halftime, just shooting 3s, trying to get his stroke down.
Here's Castle around the screen. Holmgren picked him up. Tough shot by Castle. A little window shopping here around Christmas. Little show and go by Holmgren. Sweet move there by the big man. Castle around the Cornet screen. Snakes the dribble. Finds Cornet. A little bit strong and tipped out to Barnes. Fox on the run. De'Aaron Fox pops clutch. Steps through. Got it knocked away. Retrieved it. And gets it to go. In the German Professional League. Quarter Fox on the cross. Quicks it. In rush hour traffic, Fox has a call. Oh, an emphatic follow by Keldon Johnson.
Rim protectors.
Williams trying the outside route. Wallace with the rebound. Williams dials up another. Got that one to go.
Hands ready. I'm gonna get you next one. We're gonna make next one. Come on. Come on. It ain't over. Every single board. Every single rebound for you. Come on.
Points off 15 offensive rebounds.
Isaiah Joe on the DHO, knocks it home. AJ, what does it mean? 12th double-double now of the season. Off the wide action, Wemby pulls the three. Got it.
Come on.
Jay, you mentioned he's shooting fewer three-pointers this year, but right around the league average of 36%. 17 in the ball game for him. Kenrich Williams with a retort at the other end.
Even
The Wemby screen on the pick and pop. Wembanyama got it back and lays it home. And we got a whistle. Dort on the bounce over to Caruso. Not shy. Gets his second three to go.
making passes there.
Gilgeous-Alexander off glass. Menu of games. Fox out of the timeout. Caruso switches onto him. De'Aaron in traffic got the lay to go. Castle off the screen. Working against SGA. He stayed down on the pump fake and he laces the midi.
Relatively limited minutes, only 25 minutes on the game. But you can't expect him to play much more than that. 19 points, 11 rebounds.
By this point, they were cooked. And of course, they brought in the second string of players, and that was it. Amazing, amazing stuff by the San Antonio Spurs. I had to give you the most minutes of these highlights because it was the second best game of the night. And it actually panned out right. It was a very, very good Christmas. I enjoyed it. And Merry Christmas to you all that are watching. I hope you had an amazing day today. But considering the games that we had on Christmas night, I'm assuming you guys had amazing, amazing games, an amazing day as well. All right, so that's how that one ended. San Antonio Spurs beating Oklahoma City Thunders for the third straight game this season. 117 San Antonio Spurs to 102 OKC. All right, then after that game, of course, came the Dallas Mavericks taking on Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry again, amazing, amazing stuff. And of course, it was Cooper Flag's first Christmas. It was his NBA Christmas debut. Now, Steph Curry and, of course, Jimmy Butler led the way in this one. As you can see right there, Cooper Flag had an amazing game. 27 points in this game. This is good. It's a good sight that he is the leader in this team, as it should be, because the sooner he takes on the mantle, the better this team will be in the long run. 27 points in this game, 46 fantasy points right there, as you can see. AD, I don't even know what to say. I actually watched a little bit of this game, and AD actually got injured in this game. And it was a non-contact injury. He was just running back, and then suddenly he grabbed his groin. And that was it. He's out. That's the problem with AD. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. I keep on telling you guys, he's someone you can build a team around. He carried the Lakers in that bubble title. If it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have won that title. So he has the potential, but I think he's harboring some sort of injury that they will not disclose because it would actually end his career. Because such non-contact injuries means there is a reoccurrence of something. Something is not right with his body. Something is not right with his body. But anyway, he had a terrible game. He got injured in this one. He only played 10 minutes. 3 points is all he got, and 3 rebounds. That's 15 for that one. So I'm sorry, guys, if you had him in your squad. I don't have him. Saying it is possible to build around him, but that's the risk that you take with him on your squad. He can just get lost in just a blink of an eye. Then on the other side, of course, Steph Curry, amazing, amazing guy, ensured that Golden State Warriors make sure that they get their third straight win. He dropped 23 points, 34 fantasy points right there. Then a look at Jimmy Butler. Butler had 14 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists, 44 fantasy points. So let's roll those highlights of this game.
The mismatch with Post on Nimhard. Now to back him down, turns and gets it to roll home.
Good recognition again.
We're being told he's not on the bench right now. He was out here for warm-ups. Drive and score by Cooper Flagg, the first points for Dallas.
He mentioned to him, hey, that's going to be the scouting report now.
Bad turnover, Curry, and an easy...
All right, so in this game, Steph Curry scored 23 points and knocked down a key three-pointer with just 3 minutes and 45 seconds left on to help seal it. Jimmy Butler added 14 points, 9 assists, 9 rebounds, and the Golden State Warriors beat Dallas Mavericks on a Christmas Day game on Thursday night, 126-116. Mavericks rookie star Cooper Flagg had 27 points on 13 for 21 shooting, 6 rebounds and 5 assists in his Christmas debut, while Brandon Williams scored 26 off the bench. Klay Thompson returned to face his former Warriors team in the holiday game after missing Tuesday's home game against Denver Nuggets with soreness in his left knee. I'm sure that soreness would not keep him on the bench, but I don't think it's just that he wasn't able to be given a very good contract. Is leaving Golden State Warriors, and there's a season where he actually played terribly in the playoffs, and of course they had to let him go. He had no bargaining power. There were people like Kuminga who were coming up, and then at the time there was Jordan Poole. It was crazy at the time, but in retrospect I think they should have kept him, considering the other people that they hoped would stick around and maybe replace him. They also didn't actually, because we know what happened with Poole. They actually even cost them the playoff. There's a point in time where I was shooting all over the place. But anyway, enough about that. The former Splash brother Curry kept sneaking a peek of Thompson's warm-up before they met at mid-court. So greeting and embrace. And of course, Thompson received a warm ovation when he entered the game for the first time with 5 minutes 51 remaining in the opening quarter. Of course, he's loved at Oracle Arena because of the titles that they won together while he was still there. The Mavericks center Davis Anthony did not return after exiting the second quarter with a groin spasm. That's what they say, but I don't think just a groin spasm. I think he has something wrong with his body, and he keeps on aggravating an injury that I don't think can get fixed. But of course, they will not reveal this because it's medical stuff, so really there's always privacy in these things. Of course, it would affect and hamper his career, but he's a very, very good player. When he's an amazing player. That's Anthony Davis. He had just 3 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 blocks in just 11 minutes that he played. Then, of course, Draymond Green started and contributed 7 points, 7 rebounds, playing a foul trouble today after he and of course, coach Steve Kerr had a heated exchange during the third quarter timeout against Orlando, with both later apologizing to each other. These guys have played together for so long, so I'm sure they are used to these things. And it's interesting that, of course, Steve Kerr said that Golden State Warriors needs Draymond Green. So all these speculations, they were saying that I think he's going out and this is the final time we are seeing him. I really don't think it is. Maybe at the end of the season, but right now I don't think they're going to let go of Draymond Green. I don't think so. All right, let's watch the rest of the highlights. Enough with my dialogue.
Butler looking to drive on Flagg. Gets past the rookie. Knifes through the lane. Out to Pajemski. It's good on a 3. His home off the bench this year for the Warriors. Struggled last year after an outstanding rookie season, but he's back. Flagg looking to attack. Can't create space. That was a good contest, but Flagg flashes. Here's Curry, just 1 for 6 from the floor in the half.
He drives, goes to the left hand, gets the bank shot with 6 seconds to go.
And 9 away from Dallas.
Well, Flag responding to Jason Kidd, needing him to step up here, and he's got 14 points now, a game high. 12 for Moody. Steph Curry. Good time. Just one basket for Thompson. Make it 2 as he hits the long 2. Down to about a half a second. Ball pinballs, and Thompson then slaps at the Flag. Nearing 7 minutes to go. Flag attacking. Blocked by Jackson Davis. Goaltending, though. Christie knocked away for a moment by Moody. Good hands by Moody. That disrupts the flow. Christie from the foul and able to settle down. And terrific, no, 4 terrific defenders on the floor right now.
Yep.
Golden State. Williams able to hang and finish. 24 points for Brandon Williams.
A really quality closeout by Draymond Green to pressure the shot.
Curry hits the step-up 3 off the bounce. His second triple. And fall. And Dallas secures it. They got within 5 about 3 minutes ago. They're back within 9 off the Flag dunk.
That's pretty good company for a young guy.
Out of the timeout, the Warriors with excellent execution. They get the legs. Does have 2 turnovers on the offensive fouls. Flag working on Melton, and boy, as he continues to get strong. Clock at 3, and Butler.
Look out.
Great play by Butler to keep it alive, and then Melton gets that one to fall in the lane.
We're seeing evidence of it. Talking about Kyrie, we talked about all the other guys. They're not going anywhere without Anthony Davis, David.
And he got hurt in the second quarter and did not return with a groin injury. Curry misses, but cleaned up inside. 116 win.
Dallas has won their last 5 home games. They've lost their last 5 road games.
That one
and they have a bunch of road games.
That's how that one ended. Anthony Davis, sad news, he got off and he never came back with a non-contact injury, and it's just sad. They were starting to get well, but anyway, I do believe that the hardships of Dallas Mavericks will build Cooper Flag into an amazing player in the long run. So as long as he keeps on getting confident with that ball, and I do believe he will become a better player in the long run. So that's how that one ended. Dallas Mavericks losing to Golden State Warriors 116 to 126. All right, then after that came Houston Rockets as they took on LA Lakers. Now LA Lakers are lucky. Reeves and Doncic did not have to have extended injuries. Of course, that would have dented their winning record, because without those two, the Lakers are nothing. And of course, in this game, it was amazing reading the headlines. Now, remember this part when Reeves was out and then Doncic was out. Lakers lost some games in that spot. But of course, if you to read the headlines during that spot, there was someone that they did not give the responsibility for the losses to. Now tonight, Doncic, remember, has been out for a couple of games. He has just returned. I actually don't expect him to be as good as the way he left off. So, guess who they are giving the blame for the loss to? Is Luka Doncic. I was reading the headlines, and the headline says, Amen Thompson's 26 points lead Rockets to a 119-96 win over Doncic and the Lakers. Now, while the Lakers was losing without Doncic and Reeves, guess who they didn't mention? Lakers lose. LeBron James and the Lakers lose to ABCD. They cannot mention that. Whereas they are making excuses. 40-something year old played and contributed, blah, blah, blah. Come on, guys, come on. Anyway, enough about that. We all know what is right, and that's how that went. So Houston Rockets, of course, managed to beat this. I wasn't shocked. I didn't really expect. I would be shocked if they lost this, because I do believe 4 teams that are in contention for the title. That is Houston Rockets, Okay, not in the order that I think. Of course, the order is OKC, Denver Nuggets, San Antonio Spurs, Houston Rockets. That's what I'm thinking. That would be the order that I predict to win the NBA this season. So Amin Thompson had a good game. I let him go, of course. I only needed them for just the week that I brought them in. But I had 26 points in this one, 46 fantasy points. That's Amin Thompson. KD continues to be consistently providing his fair share of points, 25 points, 54 fantasy points right there. Alperen Şengün had 14 points in this game, a double-double, 12 rebounds and 37 fantasy points. On the other side, Luka Doncic is back. And of course, it's good news that he's back. It will help Lakers go as far as they can. 53 fantasy points in this game, 25 points in the game. Then, of course, LeBron James start further with 18 points in this game, and of course 39 fantasy points. Reeves still struggling with injury. I think he came back a bit too early. We should have let him recover, because the way he plays, he needs to be at his best. If you bring him, the nature of his play, he needs a player who is really fit. I mean, who is really fine with their body and they are not hampered with any injury. So 12 points in this game, 18 fantasy points in that game right there. So let me roll the highlights.
Şengün, Eason cuts and throws it down. Eason's a good player, Richard.
He is a very good player.
Rockets like to run. Blocked by Doncic. Luka Doncic with Eason's putting some pressure. Doncic goes right at him. Good pass, wide open as Reeves nails the corner three.
Now you talk about getting the ball with velocity to the other side.
All right, Smith rattles that one in. Smith having an excellent year. Legs, you're a big fan of his.
He's a very important piece to this offense that does not take a lot of threes.
Speaking about it.
Now you can clearly see that Doncic is just trying to get his feet under himself and get back to his ways. I'm not worried about him. It's just that I know enough about that until that man retires. The Lakers is just going to. So Amin Thompson scored 26 points to lead 6 players in double figures, and the Houston Rockets never failed to beat LeBron James and the Lakers. So LeBron James and the Lakers were beaten 117-96 on Thursday night. It was one of the 5 Christmas Day games. Kevin Durant added 25 points, 9 assists for the Rockets, who ended a 2-game skid while improving to 7-7 on the road. Yeah, Thompson had 7 rebounds and 5 assists in this game. Luka Doncic, the best player on the Lakers, and LeBron James, the tag along, a sidekick, dropped 18 points for the Lakers. Fell 25-27 in their 27th appearance in Christmas. Yeah, so it was a mixed game. I think it was because I believe Houston Rockets are among the best teams in the West, and I'm actually still waiting for that game, that second game against OKC, the Rings. They push OKC to the limit. So I'm hoping these guys will again beat OKC. It's among the teams that are going to push OKC to the limit. So let's wait for this one and see. Because we clearly see that San Antonio Spurs have their number. And it's not even close. Alright, let's watch the rest of the highlights.
And Smart lays it up and in, and the Lakers back within 8.
Luka really hasn't gotten going offensively, and yet here they are. An answer by Amin Thompson to stop this mini run by the Lakers.
Doncic floats it up, shot's good. Doncic starting to get a little feel. It's just his second field goal.
Now Smart comes to help out.
Now, what's sad is that the commentators are their own worst enemies. There are things that they say that are so dumb. Yeah, Luka hasn't quite gotten. Why don't you say that nonsense when LeBron is the one leading this team? They just keep on praising him for everything. Whereas, you know, watch your highlights.
Who nails that one?
Yeah, it's amazing how he slows everything down when he catches the ball.
Doncic, fake, fire, and connect. Luka Doncic. Marcus Smart goes at Smith, goes inside, couple of fakes. Tried to find Ayton. Durant comes the other way. Durant to Eason. Eason lays it up and in. Clint Capella floats it up and in. And this is such a feel-good game for the Rockets coming off that poor performance against the Suns.
Yeah, and Mike, they've lost 5 games in December to the 5 worst records in the Western Conference. So this was an important game for them. I felt that it was also for the Lakers, who now are going to drop 6 out of 10.
Jeff Green holds the record for most teammates a player's had in the history of the NBA. Ronnie James also always gets a big cheer. Knocks down a bucket. Connect on the drive. Nice reverse up and in. As Tate lays it up and in, especially where this road trip went for them. They lost 3 overtime games. 1-4 on this 6-game trip. As Bronny James knocks down a 3, and you hear the big cheer from the crowd.
All right, so that's how basically this
for the Rockets, but a terrific performance.
As Houston Rockets managed to beat LA Lakers in the second final game of the night. Houston Rockets beat Lakers 119-196 points. All right, so after that game came the best game of the night, and boy oh boy did it become even sweeter considering the way it ended after the earlier game of San Antonio Spurs OKC, where Spurs beat OKC 117-102. Then came the best game of the night, which was Minnesota Timberwolves taking on Denver Nuggets. Anthony Edwards dropped 44 points before being sent off for a second, technical call on him. 65 fantasy points in this game, 6 rebounds and 3 assists to go along. 3 steals as well to go along with that. 44 in the game for AD. Then Julius Randle, of course, also showed up. 32 points as well. 7 rebounds, 6 assists. 63 fantasy points for Julius Randle. The rest of the team was as good as that. Jaden McDaniels as well, 21 points, 39 fantasy points. Naz Reid as well, 13 points, 25 fantasy points. On the other side, this man set a record, an NBA record of overtime, scoring the most points in overtime in NBA history. That was 18 points in overtime. And he also becomes the second player to get 100 plus points, fantasy points this season. The first one was King Cade earlier on this season for the Detroit Pistons. Nikola Jokic does that again and actually surpassed him. I think Kincaid was 101 or 2, I'm forgetting exactly. Nikola Jokic sets his a new one, 108. Then in the NBA in overtime, more on that later. So he managed to get a triple-double as well. 56 points, 16 rebounds, and 15 assists in this game. 2 blocks to go along with that as well. 108 fantasy points. Jamal Murray, a breath of fresh air this season. Finally, Nikola Jokic gets some help. He gets some much needed assistance. But even then, things are still falling apart for the Denver Nuggets with so many injuries. Cam Johnson, Christian Brown still out as well, and of course Aaron Gordon. Those are the main players that are really out, and they are going to affect these teams' run for the playoffs and the title contention altogether. Jamal Murray in this one had an amazing 35 points and a double-double, 10 assists, 60 points for Jamal Murray. Tom Hardaway had struggled at first, but later on he managed to get those threes dropping as well. 19 points in this one, 26 fantasy points. And that was it. Now, let's jump into the highlights of this game. I want you guys to watch this because it was awesome. What Anthony Edwards did, Ant-Man, it was awesome. It was just one of those 3-pointers that you should watch. Again, to be honest, and to give credit where it's due. So here we go again. Sorry about
8 seconds to go, down 3. They'll go for the quick.
Now, again, I said this was the best game of the night. So please indulge me. So you see, at that point, they are leading by 9 points. Now, if Jamal Murray wasn't playing well, that shot right there by Anthony Edwards would have done them in. They would have now slumped their heads and given up. Of course, Nikola Jokic wouldn't have slumped his head. He would have pushed until the limit. But of course, because he never used to have help, Denver Nuggets would have lost that game because of that. But this time round, guess who showed up? Jamal Murray. If it wasn't for Jamal Murray helping Nikola Jokic, they would not have won this game. Let no one lie to you. So Jamal Murray just helped Nikola Jokic. And by help, I really mean help, because Nikola Jokic clearly delivered. Watch and see what Nikola Jokic does next.
Last time out.
He is simply that good. That is Nikola Jokic, the MVP. By help is what I mean is that when you go to battle, the battle becomes easier when you have teammates, when you have your colleagues fighting together with you, than you going to battle alone. So Nikola Jokic was the main man, but just because he had Jamal Murray right there, it added to his confidence and of course brought out the best in him in this game, and clearly helped him break this record and set the record in the NBA of the most points in overtime of 18 points. He has the highest by any player in regular season or NBA playoffs. He set that record tonight on Christmas Day. Amazing, amazing stuff. Let's get back to that. That was the first technical. It's just that the highlights don't show it properly. But after that dunk, Nikola Jokic runs out to inbound very quickly. Then Edwards pushes the ball out of his hands. And that was the first technical he gets. Right there. That actually was the first technical. He pushed the ball out of Nikola Jokic, trying to rattle him. But of course, Nikola Jokic was unfazed. He stayed true and focused on the game, and indeed, he won the game. The very same thing that he will do, even in this talk of NBA, him being cheated out of NBA MVP titles. Boy, oh boy, what a game that was. Nikola Jokic recording 56 triple-double and sets an NBA record of 18 points in overtime as he led the Denver Nuggets to their win against Minnesota Timberwolves. And of course, Nikola Jokic on the night breaks Stephen Curry's record of the most points scored in overtime. Stephen Curry's record was standing at 17 points in overtime that he set in 2016, and the current record that he set on the night, Nikola Jokic Joker MVP, makes him the highest player of any player in regulation season or NBA playoffs with the most points in overtime, and puts his record of 18 points as the standing record. All right, as you can see right there, Minnesota lost that game, but not they played very, very well. I will give them credit as well. They pushed Denver Nuggets to the limit. I had already used my captaincy chip. This was the perfect game to use your captaincy chip. If you did, I'm sure you've gone far. You've gone really, really far on Nikola Jokic, I mean, anyway. So it ended 138 to 142, Denver Nuggets beating Minnesota Timberwolves. All right, now let's take a look at game day 4. Now, game day 4 games will be coming on shortly today. Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah. That is the first game will be Miami Heat taking on Atlanta Hawks. Boston Celtics will be taking on Indiana Pacers. Charlotte Hornets will be taking on Orlando Magic. Toronto Raptors, Washington Wizards, Philadelphia 76ers, Chicago Bulls, Milwaukee Bucks taking on Memphis Grizzlies, Phoenix Suns taking on New Orleans Pelicans, Detroit Pistons taking on Utah Jazz, LA Clippers taking on Danny Avdia's Portland Trail Blazers. You should be able to field a full team in this one. So a look at what we intend to play. My roster for game day 4 will most definitely have Danny Avdia. Nikola Jokic will not be playing on the night. So I'm inclined to go, I think I'm going to go small for the first time. I'm going to go with forwards, 3 forwards for the first time. I'm going to go Canopo, Giuseppe, but it's a huge risk because forwards, okay, it's a risk because I have George on, and George sometimes goes off, although he's also inconsistent. But then again, I also have Rawlings. Rawlings goes off sometimes. Ah, man, oh man. Just the other time, Giuseppe went off and I missed out on his points. Kenopo had a terrible game, 22. So you see, so I'm thinking, sometimes Kenopo goes off and then I'm like, come on, I should have played you. So it's tricky. It's tricky for me. I do not know if George has been struggling as well. So it's between really Rawlings, George, and Kenopo. Who should I play of those 3? That is really the rest. I'm certain they are going to play. Yeah, I'm now sold also on Giuseppe. Giuseppe I wasn't sold on him earlier, but I think I am sold on him. Just have a look. How should I be settled on him? Can I choose between Giuseppe and okay, I'm going to go with that. I just hope I don't get punished. Alright, so that's the squad for the night. All right. Okay, So I think let me go with that. Let me settle with these just for a change. Yeah. So a look at our players of the night. Now our players of the night, we had just hold on. All right. So our players of the night, of course, Spider. Cleveland Cavaliers, Donovan Mitchell had an amazing game on Christmas 25th as they took on New York Knicks. Fortunately, they lost that game, but his contribution and him player of the night with 65 fantasy points on the night. So, of course, the game ended 124 Cleveland to 126 New York Knicks. On the night, Donovan scored 34 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, and a total of 65 fantasy points, which brings his averages actually to 30.7 points per game. And I think he's in 5th place. We shall look at the analytical view shortly. 4.6 rebounds per game, and of course 4.4 assists per game. That's Donovan Mitchell in the backcourt, our first player of the night. Now, interesting week it was. We had 2 backcourt players that scored 65 points on the night. And aside from Donovan Mitchell, it was none other than Ant-Man Anthony Edwards right there against that epic game. Minnesota taking on Denver Nuggets. Boy, oh boy, was that game among the best games of the season. Now, of course, Ant-Man lost that game. He even got ejected after getting his second technical, but he had a hit of a game. They lost 138 points to 142 Denver Nuggets. On the night, he dropped 44 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals in that game. 65 fantasy points as well for him, getting 28.7 points per game. His averages stand at 28.7 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, and 3.8 assists per game. That's Anthony Edwards in the backcourt as well. Of course, he scored the same amount of points as Donovan Mitchell as well. So these two, Donovan Mitchell and Edwards, were the players of the night in the backcourt right there. Now, the player of the night was none other than the Joker, the MVP. In the same game, the game of the night, of course, was Minnesota Timberwolves taking on Denver Nuggets, and the MVP did not let them lose that game. The Joker was unguardable, unstoppable, and he is our front court player of the night and ultimately the best player on the night. 138 to 142. He scored 56 points, a triple-double, 16 rebounds, 15 assists, 2 blocks, 108 fantasy points. The second player to score 100 plus this season and the most yet this season, bringing his averages to 28.9 points per game, 12 rebounds, 10.9 assists. That's a triple-double average for this man right here. He is most definitely the MVP this season, Nikola Jokic. There it is, guys. Now let's take a quick look at the analytical view as well. Now, of course, when we look at the standings, you can clearly see in the East, Detroit Pistons, runaway league leaders. They are actually on a 3-game winning streak, 24 to 26 losses. New York Knicks in second place, 20-9. Boston Celtics 18-11. Toronto Raptors 18-13. Philly 16-12. Orlando 17-13. All right, quickly in the West, I'm just looking at the safe teams, the top six basically. Oklahoma City Thunder's leading the way. Their streak is actually one loss after they lost to San Antonio Spurs, who are quickly gaining on them. They are 26-4. Then, of course, San Antonio Spurs in second place, 22-7. Denver Nuggets 21-8. Houston, LA Lakers 19-9. Minnesota Timberwolves 20-10. Houston Rockets 17-10. Then a look at the top 5 players, scorers in the NBA as we speak is none other than Luka Doncic, quickly returning from that quick injury. 33.7 leading the way. In second place is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 32.9. Tyrese Maxey, 31. Then Donovan Mitchell, 30.7. Then, of course, we wrap up the top 5, 29.8. Nikola Jokic. All right, guys, this I think concludes our video. This is the squad that is going to field in game day 4, which will be a few hours away from, well, it's tomorrow basically. The deadline is tomorrow. So tonight there are no games. There's just going to be teams to rest. Then tomorrow there will be in just a few hours time basically. Yeah, in a few hours time is when the deadline will be. So make sure you have your squads ready and prepared so that you don't miss out on those points. If you've not yet used your chip, remember there's always a captaincy chip that you use every game week, so use your captaincy chip as well. I already played mine in game day 1 of this game week, so I have none left. But more on the other chips, I will be showing you how to use them as well. The wild card I think is now available, the second wild card. Yes. All right, guys, enough about that. The MVP on the night was none other than Nikola Jokic. Had an amazing game right there. All right, that's the squad that will be fielded tonight. And of course, that concludes it. So guys, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Give me feedback. Let me know down in the comment section below. Peace out.